Alrighty, you should get a message saying to include your audio at some point, hopefully, if I've done it right. Alrighty, yours isn't including. Let's change this over. Pass the audio on. There we go.
You should be able to hear me now.
Big dubs.
You can hear me, right? In the thing.
Yeah, this is the first time that we've had a successful guest commentator without it going horrifically wrong because they weren't on Xbox.
Well,
Welcome.
it's always a bonus.
Everyone to HRA. This is the pre-season race. Just a bit of banter today, but it also is being run partially as a tribute race, as we lost Division 1 driver ItzFourie a couple months ago. Someone who me and Harry commentated on, going back 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah, madness.
Rapid driver. It's shame to see him go.
Yeah, and that was the league that got me into commentating big time, and got me in here with Ironland, inviting me over for Hulk's tribute race back in 2022. Jesus, but
First time we commentated together as well, Dan.
yeah, absolute scenes. It's been so long. Well, the rust is going to be real, but
Yeah, I feel like I've aged 30 years since. Yeah.
my hairline's aged 30 years. That's for sure.
I've got a dad bod now. I didn't back then.
No, you just built like a tank. That's. I mean
Like-
that in a good way. You're just built like a tank.
I'm gonna get Bosch tattooed on my chest. Yeah.
Gosh. Welcome to the chat room. The GOAT. Div 2 champion for Haas last season. My GOAT. And
What we have
of the
to say
Great
about this
Haas the
game
Plan, trademark.
is that the lobby music, when you got soundtrack on, it is pretty intense.
Oh, it is, but some of them absolutely slap. Like,
Yeah.
it's not F1 21 menu music. If you remember that, that was
kind of
I'm a
dead.
music
Yeah.
nut. That was composed by the same guy who did F1 2012, and that was another iconic one. But that was before my time, F1 2012. But that was my alarm track. The fucking the theme music for F1 21. That was my alarm for like 6 months.
Fair. I personally don't think you could be. I think it was when BBC was still showing it. It was like the Just Drive.
Oh yeah,
That was the one.
That was the bang. Although the Fleetwood Mac the chain is F1 intro. Harish needs an invite. Let me get him in. If you need any help pronouncing names, Hawash for so long it was Horash, Hewash, Hawak. I did everything, mate. I was everywhere. It's Hawash. I can't see him online anyway. Drift King, George, Ash. I am being dumb. I know that for a fact. I don't see him online.
Sorry, Hawash. How do you pronounce that?
Hawash.
Hawash. Cool. Nice to know. George Plaster. I remember him.
Yeah, so George is one-time champion, I believe, or is he two? I can't remember. He was involved in. I'm sorry to bring this up again, George, if you're watching. I know I said I wouldn't, but he was involved in my favourite race in this league, which was the Season 7 or Season 8 finale. It's on our YouTube channel. And my God, a 20-point deficit overturned in one race was scenes from maths. Poor George has been reminded by me every time someone goes, "Oh, George, I recognise him." But that race was absolutely mad. That at the stars aligned. I was home alone, so I could yell my lungs out.
That's why we love this, though. Like that's what part of the whole. I got hooked as soon as we got a good race in LSA. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, LSA. You weren't there for one of the rounds. It was in Singapore, and I remember I genuinely partially lost my voice the next day. I was croaky as hell because it was just everything was happening all at once. but a fun one. But I'm glad that was immortalised on YouTube because
I remember
been
rewatching
inactive
that
with work, and Ironland's where he's been at work, he's not been able to post to YouTube for quite a while. But that one was back when he was able to, and I recommend watching it. It's quite a boring race if you ignore the championship narrative, but my god, the last like 10 laps, you couldn't write it genuinely.
Well, we've had a few like that in LSA. One race that was just, well, we were speaking about before we went live, Dan. That Austria race, which I don't think you remember. It was probably around season 2. But that one is on YouTube, I believe, on the LSA account. I don't know the actual account behind it at the moment because I haven't commentated in that league for a while. But we had a last to first, and it was just a generational race, generational drive. And hopefully we can see some of that today, to be honest, because Monza does provide the thrills. You can overtake around here with the DRS, and especially if you get a good run off of turn 2 through Curva Grande, you can line up and move into that chicane. So
oh yes, with overtake being so crucial to it to a pass these days. DRS sort of matters, but if you don't have DRS, you can still pass with overtake if you've got the ERS. And management's going to be big on this game. Definitely going to be big.
It's massive in career mode, let alone doing it in a long distance race with other people. So it will be an interesting spectacle, I'm sure. And Monza's one of the tracks I've actually been to in real life, so I know
actually
how
a crazy
crazy it
flex,
is.
to be fair.
Yeah.
Actually a crazy flex.
Didn't go for a race, just went for a tour, so actually stood on the podium. It's pretty cool.
You've been to Silverstone as well. That's
that was
pride
a
and
great
joy.
that was a great day.
That I was depressed as hell because Ferrari screwed over Leclerc, but me and Harry went together and we got to in person witness Carlos Sainz's first victory in F1, which was a special one. And also, I think Seb Vettel was driving Mansell's 92 Williams around that day, and my god, the sound was just...
It was just like the perfect race day.
Yeah.
Take away the fact that both our drivers went out of the race.
Didn't we end up buying... We said we'd buy the hat of whoever finished P10. And it was like...
Whoever got 10th in qualifying,
I think it was like Mick Schumacher or something.
I remember I've got the Latifi one still,
and then we both bought Latifi.
It's here actually.
Mine is at my mum's. So
yeah, I'm gonna put mine on now.
But I do have my Charles Leclerc hat still.
Yeah, my Gasly one is in a suitcase right now.
Yeah.
So I'm moving.
Was that didn't I? I think when I went in 2019 to Silverstone, I got you a Gasly hat, and it's
Red Bull.
A Red Bull Gasly hat. Madness.
Yeah, I was looking on eBay the other day. I said the other day, it's probably about 2 months ago. Just looking at them, and they've held their value.
Jeez, fair enough. I mean, I bought a Leclerc hat in November, and he changed his logo in like January or February, so it's like not completely worthless, but it's not the right logo. But this year's Ferrari merch absolutely sucks. So.
When I went to Monza, I bought a Ferrari hat. But I pointed to the guy who ran the shop. Brilliant shop, by the way. It had literally everything in there. But I was on a bit of a budget. I didn't want to. I could have spent like 400 quid. Euros right there. And I had the money, but it's just I didn't want to because.
Yeah, of course.
So.
But this year as well, if you live in the UK and you're an F1 fan like all of us, Lap of Lights has come back. And Lap of Lights, if you didn't do it, it's where you can pay to drive around Silverstone. And there's a light display on. They also open up the pit lane, the pit building, the garages themselves, and put a bloody ice skating rink in them. And there was, and they open up the pit building as well, the Paddock Club one, where you see all the rich people walking up the stairs, on that podium building. And they open that up. They have games inside it, food, a Silverstone merch store. it's an experience, and I'm going with my partner this year. And
That's how you won the
I
trip to
can't wait.
Silverstone, wasn't it?
That is, they had
Yeah.
simulators there. They had simulators there, and I come down. It was on F1 21, so my sweat game, my bread and butter. Thought I'd set a decent time. Weren't really sure, so I went down on the last day. They'd been beat by 2 tenths, so I sat there for half a day bullying these simulators, and in the end, I beat the guy by like 3 tenths and proper sweated default setups. And that's why I was the Silverstone master on that game, because I sweated it, and I won 2, but technically 3 tickets to the event.
that was a good. That was good they did that, because they did not have to.
We brought my mum along with me, and I was like, "Oh, Harry's here. My mum's here. Can we have another ticket?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, all right." Brought another wristband. W.
Yeah, all worked out.
Alrighty.
Your poor mum would have stayed in the car park the entire time.
Yeah, she was, but I was convinced that they were going to bring another ticket out, and thank God they did, because I would have felt awful. But I figured, I mean, at Silverstone Museum, they've probably got an entire box of them. Right. I am probably going to say it's not mandatory, but I think I'm going to do a little minute silence for the first minute of quali. You're all welcome to in your cars as well. Just before we get going. Alrighty, and we've got people on their outlaps getting ready to go here.
Hammer's the only one out at the moment, so I just follow his lap.
Warming his tyres, getting it in nice and early. Thankfully, there's a rev glitch in spectator mode that I had on my test stream. Thankfully, I've not got that here, where everyone was blitzing it off the limiter. This game just looks absolutely beautiful. The graphics are on another level compared to what they used to be. I've just quickly hit the pause button because I am going to try and up the quality to 720 because my network can be unstable at the best of times, and hoping that it holds up.
George Plaster is out of the session, so
is George doing a last to first in ItzFourie's car? That would be scenes.
That would be quite something.
I had the pleasure of course, we run the MotoGP point system, or did on last year's game. I'm not sure if we've stuck with it. It just invites closer championships, means that those who are struggling a little bit for raw pace can bag points when they have a good race. Top 15 score in that format, I believe. It is top 15. I did have a look. I think it is continuing this year as well. I know I've not been active in the league that much, but I did manage to score some points. I reserved. I do not like F1 24, but I was given the chance to reserve in ItzFourie's car and managed to bag some points, which I was very, very happy about, considering that was the first time that I played the game since I tried a Danny Rick career when he got sacked out. I lasted about 3 laps and quit because the game's so bad, and I did 2 races earlier on in the first season on that game. So yeah, I racked up more hours commentating than I did playing that game, even after that little sweat stint at the end of the game cycle. But this game is amazing. I love it.
Just to keep up to date with the action on track, Hammer, a little bit wide through the second Lesmo. Over track limits. I don't know what the track limits are on today, but he's kept his lap in, and he touched the gravel a little bit going into the first Lesmo as well. So, bit of a scruffy middle sector here for Hammer, and we'll see what he does to the line as he deploys the overtake, rinses it really, and he's going to almost be out of it by the time he gets to the line. 20.1 is the time to beat so far.
It's a solid banker for Hammer. Of course, the ex Mercedes team principal last season decided he wanted something new, so gave up the day job, joined Ferrari in Hamilton fashion. Great part of the Ferrari Haas alliance. We have a joint server together and sort of share info, and he's been a good addition to Ferrari, but he's still looking for that first elusive podium.
It looks like both Red Bulls are going to be at the back here, so
a last to first from Red Bull. Could we see a last to first 1-2 for Red Bull?
Oh, there's gravel there for Howat.
I think he's getting out. I think on his outlap, getting out of Hammer's way. Nearly set a 22-0.
There you go, Albini's to the line. Pole position. 19.5
for Joe.
Is a great lap around Monza. That's about what his time trial was as well. I was having a quick look at.
And he's done no practice. I can confirm he's been playing Roblox for the last 3 hours straight.
It's also his birthday, so
it is also his birthday.
Would be pretty
Happy
funny.
Happy birthday to one of my goats at Haas. I've somehow managed to get two close friends of mine. I've known Albini or Joe in real life for coming on 6 years now. And Mint, I think time flies so quick, but Kevin, I've known
Berry to the line then.
The same.
Berry goes third fastest, just behind Hammer. That's not
bad.
A bad lap at all. His teammate goes second fastest
as well. Yeah, JP the Joker, setting a lap time. He's new to this league. Welcome. I hope you enjoy your time here. Willsy's invalidated. Willsy champion on the first season of F1 24.
There's a slow Alpine, I believe. I think it's an Alpine. I think he's just warming up for a lap, maybe. Howat into the pits, actually.
Into the pits. Anyone else? We've got LRS Carl, a newcomer to the league. We've got quite a lot of strong lineups here. Carl and Willsy is a strong one. George Tesco is an elite lineup. That is top level. Haas, to be honest, I think Kevin, of course, will always be up there. I haven't actually seen or been in a league race with Joe for well over 2 years now.
I was technically in one with him last week.
But I know Joe is an incredibly raw, talented driver. I said this on the test stream. He's quicker than me in person, unless it's raining. That's my bread and butter. And he's quicker
slightly
than me
heavier, though. No offense.
Yeah, but even
not by much.
Even then, I think there's only about 5 kilos in it these days. And I'm still, we went to Buckmore Park a couple months ago, and it was chucking it down, and I still ended up bagging the fastest time by about half a second over him. And I think I was second fastest or fastest overall. Fastest overall, but I was second on track. I couldn't quite catch and pass, but first time on the track, that weren't bad. But I am waffling. Carl is still on his flying lap. He's set decent sector time so far through the Parabolica, or whatever you want to call it these days.
This could challenge for pole, to the line. Not quite.
To the line, 20-0. Still a strong lap time from Carl. Up there with Denhorn, who is a very, very strong Division 2 driver. I believe promoted to Division 1. I'm not quite sure on that. But he's up there with the likes of Hammer. Berry's a Div 1 driver, but that's because he can't normally do Wednesdays, I believe. Hammer's normally mid to low pack in Div 2, but that was on last year's game. That's the thing. I'm so excited about the new game cycle because we don't know where the pecking order is. We know, of course, form is temporary, class is permanent. That's something I've always said, but it always shuffles things.
Oh, into the wall for Berry on pit entry.
Berry's out. Pit entry.
Pit entry. He hit the wall. He hit the P0 sign.
Jesus.
So I don't know if that was on purpose or accident, but it looks like he's locked. It did look he locked the rears actually, so it might have just sent him into the wall here. But if so, that's a massive blunder for Berry. He did look quick. Like, he could have definitely been in contention for at least the second row today.
Indeed. Berry's a very solid driver. He's never had raw pace, but his racecraft is godly. Oh dear.
Howatch is out of the session.
I have some news from the chat. We've been bigging up George. He is on default setup. He forgot to do an outlap with his setup, so he will be fixed on default setup.
Oh. I mean, if he does it on a default setup, that's still pretty impressive. Also, I'm pretty sure it sets to like the suggested for the track now, so you might still be on max top speed.
Yeah, there's that at least. You're not running 50-50 wings, which would be absolutely diabolical around here.
Yes,
real ones no Jensen Button Monza 2011 setup. Real ones no.
One currently on a lap is Carl, but I think he's significantly down actually. Have a look.
Oh, he's 2 temps up as it stands actually. So improving in the McLaren, but he's got to be careful with that ERS usage. It used to be 10% and you start losing engine power. It's now 15, I believe, off the top of my head. So once that red light starts flashing, it's not just to say you're low on battery. You actually lose deployment, and you don't want to be dipping there. There we go, 10%. It does it on this year's game, back to the old ways. And that does mean that you lose engine power. Even when you're in overtake, it's not as pokey, not as much power.
Will it be an improvement for Carl? Slight improvement, 200ths of a second?
Off. 18,000, sorry. Time is time in the world of Formula 1, so he'll take that. I believe on the same set of tyres as well. Willsey as well on a flyer. Watch out for
so
him.
Both Ferrari cars, but Nini is invalidated, and so has Hammer actually, so ignore me there.
As well, so they might be about to start another lap as it stands. Just over, 7.5 minutes to go in qualifying. Albini on provisional pole, followed closely by Den Horn. We've got Carl in third, JP and Hammer fourth and fifth, Berry sixth, Nini seventh. Those are the only set lap times so far.
The line then for Willsey. Where is he going to put his McLaren? He goes pole by a second.
Provisional pole.
Wow,
and that is Willsey for you. This I always compare him to Fernando Alonso. Ridiculous pace, no matter where or what he's doing, and his racecraft is the best in the league by far. He's
what you want.
He's someone who has so much spare capacity for racing IQ that you would not believe. He's not just focusing on driving. His mind's, at the checker flag. What strategy have I done, sort of thing. As Howatch is left, let me get him an invite back. As a reminder, if you're new, please add this account I'm streaming from, HRA League, on EA or Xbox, and it just means if you disconnect, I pause commentating, pause it all, and I get straight to trying to get you back into the lobby so that you can lose as little time from a disconnect as possible. I'm not seeing him coming up on my list of people, so... Not
thus yet. What about Nini to the line? Is he he's going to come into the pits. He needs a lap time, does Nini? He's 3.5 off the pace. So there's a slow McLaren as well, so that won't improve either. Low fuel is my guess. And I believe that is Willsey. So he'll be coming into the pits right now. Next on a flyer, I believe, is the Joker. Nope, he has invalidated, and that's a common theme that I'm seeing right now. Invalidations just happen a lot around Monza,
and we've got Nico on an outlap. I think this is Rogue Nico. Had a bit of a change in username for this year's game.
The Mercedes could be a Rosberg fan, Can he channel the guy who beat Lewis Hamilton in Equal Machinery? That is the real question.
Indeed. In 2016, beat him in Equal Machinery.
Alright, then Horn Kronter for 4 seconds down. So no real point looking at that. I was going to say earlier, before Willsey set his incredible lap time, Joe is usually a one and done driver in qualifying. He'll have to go again if he wants to challenge for pole, but I think he'll He's a bit of a pessimist when it comes to qualifying and league racing.
He's
like, yeah, I would
always,
be able to beat that.
he's always got his laps happy and done. Joe's real pace is inconsistency. That's where he ekes out a margin. To me, it's just he can bang in lap after lap. If he's comfortable, there is no catching him. Speaking from experience, both real life and in game, there is no catching him when he's happy in the seat that he's in.
I remember when I was quicker than him. It's not hasn't happened for a while.
Going for the rogue line into the second chicane. I'm not sure if he's lost a bit of front wing. No, it's just a lot of understeer. Of course,
it's not Yamaha number. We'll see what it does for him in this middle sector, though. 56-2, the split invalidation through HRA. That is a common theme.
As Carl saying in the chat, Willsy sandbagging McLaren domination incoming. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Willsy manages to pull off the same feat he did in last year's game, which was join for a season, win the title, refuse to elaborate, and then leave halfway through the next season with Wi-Fi issues.
I'm sorry, but if that's Willsy sandbagging, what is he sandbagging? Because that's an unreal time.
I said this before we went live to you, Harry, but Willsy had me on smoke when I was at the top of my game, actually quick, not washed up like I am now. And he had me on smoke at like all of the tracks except 2.
Well, I mean, we're all washed up nowadays.
Yeah.
I used to be good at one point.
I blame the wheel.
Yeah.
As Harris goes 7th.
Good, he's back in the lobby. I didn't actually see the thing pop up, so I'm cracking open a cold one because this is gonna be a fun night. So,
ooh, I might join you. I've got some stuff from a local brewery in Norfolk.
Oh yeah, is that Laken's by any chance?
It is Westacre Brewing. It's
that's
Duration Ebb and Flow, and it is very, very smooth. See, here's the reason why I can never become an alcoholic, because my taste in alcohol is too damn expensive. I like my fancy stuff. I like my single malt English whiskey that's aged 10 years. I like my beer from my local breweries that well, £2 a bottle if you go in there, but infinitely better than your Carlsbergs and whatnot you buy.
Alright, as we start to get to the last 1 minute 40 of quali, Joe is out for a final lap, so that's a shock to me. But people are going to start their flies relatively soon. And it's like the front of the queue is Hammer, who's off the racing line, just going to warm up his tyres, which means
I think I'm going to stick on board with Willsy for the entirety of this lap, because watching Willsy fire a car around any track is a pleasure, and I think those viewing should have the enjoyment of watching what will surely be a pole lap, because quite frankly he's 7/10 to the better right now, and that was on his banker lap.
Hammer will not get a final run in. He is in the pits, so
that is
Hammer 5th at best. Same with Carl, he's 3rd at best. He's coming to the pits, so the Joker will be 1st.
On board with Willsy. All about straight line at this track, but Willsy does not care. It's the wiggly stuff where Willsy makes up his difference. That's a technical term, by the way. Into the first chicane, all of the run on the entry, bully the curb, dabbled the second one. Ooh, big snap of oversteer as he downshifted. Probably shouldn't have, but he fires it out of that chicane. Through the curve of Grande into the second chicane. This one, you can really hook the curbs when you get it right on this game. He missed the first one, misses the second one as well. He's not quite picked that straight up, which is terrifying, because that's 3 attempts that you can gain if you get that chicane right.
Hawash made a mistake in Ascari. He will not improve.
But no improvement for the Alpine in P7, currently behind his teammate.
The Joker also 400ths down.
Also 400ths down. Someone's coming to the line. Who is this? Hawash improves not. Okay, that through Ascari was absolutely incredible from Willsy. bang on the white line on the first and second apex, bang on the amount of curve usage at the third. That was beautiful to watch. Through Parabolica, nibbles the inside curve, lets the car understeer on the overtake button. Again, fires it to the line. To the line he goes. It's a tenth, and it's nearly 2 tenths found.
Nico to the line. P9.
As Den Horn, he's improving to the line. It is pole for Wilsey by 8 tenths of a second, unless Albini, unless Joe has a response. He's a 10th up right now.
He's a bit that birthday magic.
Bit of the birthday magic to the line. Comes last.
Can he get to the front row?
P3 for Albini.
I think he'll be happy with that. He'll be happy with that.
Red Bull team principal, A5 as I call him, or Sims, is on the Hawkston Lager. Absolute legend. This is my treat drink, because again, if I had cheaper taste in alcohol, I would definitely have a problem. Let's just say that. But Wilsey on provisional pole, followed by Den Horn and Albini, the top 3. Carl Hammer, Joker, Harash, Berry, Nico and Nini setting their lap times, with Tesco and George rounding out the back for Red Bull, looking to try and do a last to first for the team that Fourie was so well known for driving for in the past couple of years. No matter what league you saw Fourie in, he'd be in a Red Bull these days, and that was his team. So be interesting to see what they can do from the back.
I don't know if it's the graphics, but is it me or is it slightly overcast?
I believe it is.
So it could be some rain on her. I don't want to speculate. I don't want to make it like.
Don't want to curse it, but.
Don't want to curse it. Although rain would make it very interesting.
Oh, indeed it would. Rain around Monza. Everyone on 0-0 wings. Everyone running suspension that is maximised for the straight line. Then having to navigate the corners. Oh, Wilsey's had a disconnect that's going back in. Okay, Wilsey on the friends list. Yes.
What I'm excited for is the Red Bulls, because you said they've got pace. Obviously, I don't know them that well.
Tesco, he's been in the league for about a year. He's normally up front in terms of pace, but he falls away with inconsistencies during race, like speeding, penalties, things like that. He'll be the first to admit that. He was a prime bottler, but he got better and better through last year's game. And George, he's been here he joined 2 years ago in this league, and he's been on and off here, but he's always at the front, always. Took the championship in Division 1. We run 3 seasons on the game. He took it on the middle one, and the last one was XPG Jacob, who was just run rampant and dominated. But he's a champion. He's always near the front, always. But with the default setup on, is he going to be able to fight the likes of Wilsey? We'll find out.
Sounds like someone I've got to support then, because I was very much known for bottling back in the day. So
Indeed.
Yeah, many a time.
Saved the same as lovely.
PRL hurt, man. That did hurt.
Maz the goat in the chat. Maz the goat. 2-time one of. I want to say. I think two-time champions in Division 1. Yeah. Yeah, he's one of 2.
So you see that building. So you got the pit lane, and to the left of the screen you got that massive building.
Yeah, the big.
Yeah. In there, a little bit of inside information for you, because I have been there. Sorry for the little flex. That's where the commentary booth is. So hypothetically, we are sat somewhere in that building, Dan.
Waving out the window.
Yeah, and that's also where the all the paddock club members are sat, and also at the bottom of that building is a museum which just goes through all the winners. There's like all the winners of the Italian Grand Prix. It's repeatedly updated. So, and also the podium. While we were there, it was for they're preparing for Freca for when they went to
Oh, wow.
Monza. So they had all the Frecker like branding on the podium. So because I had to, because it's, I'm a Gasly fan, right? Stood exactly where he stood when he won, and it's so cool. I completed the pilgrimage.
That is incredible. That is incredible as a Gasly fan.
Yeah, 5 lights then ahead of the drivers. Take it away, Dan.
We go for the start of F125 in HRA. Starts tricky on this game, and it's been tricky for Wilsey. He's getting absolutely gobbled up, heading towards turn 1. Denhorn's got past him. He's got Albini to his inside. Contact in the background. Cars going off left, right, and centre. Haas of Albini goes round the outside of a Ferrari to hold it. There's an Alpine off. I think some of the Red Bulls get caught up. I saw carbon fibre absolutely flying at the start there. I'll have to flick through and see who's got the damage.
It was Hawash who went over the runoff. He must have made contact with a Williams from what I remember. But Denhorn with a fantastic start.
Indeed, but you'd have to think with the raw pace of Wilsey to catch him, but you never know in this league. Anything can happen. I've called races time and time, and had some random thing pop up that has completely changed the race. Projected 2-stop here by the game, possibly a 3-stop if you're bold enough. Let's get the tyre graphic up and see what everyone is running. Oh, actually, position changes. Nico and Hawash, big losers. Everyone going up a couple places, except from Wilsey, Carl, Hammer, Nico, and Hawash have lost places.
One thing that did happen on the opening lap, going into turn 1, there's a bit of a jostle between Albini and Hammer. They were going at it. I think Hammer just got forced a little bit wide because of contact, but I think that would inevitably go down as a lap 1 incident. Joe still up in 3rd. The Hammer did lose a little bit, and he's down in 6th.
Crucially, Wilsey is on the hard tyre. Now this tyre wear is so much better. The hards is not a tyre that you slap on at the crossover point anymore. It's the more you can extend on that medium, the better you're going to get out of the hard. And tyre wear is a huge factor. It stopped the so-called flick method from being effective. You can see here Wilsey closing into the back of Denhorn. Of course, DRS enabled on lap 1 these days in F1, or end of lap 1 I should say. And Wilsey is all over the back of Denhorn on the slower tyre. This is ominous from the McLaren.
Well, see, this is the last game we get DRS, so because the regs for next year
is.
Get rid of
Rest
DRS.
In peace, DRS gone, but hopefully forgotten to never come back.
Wilsey got past Denhorn, so
absolutely clinical. And now, in true Wilsey fashion, he's got no one to challenge him here. I think he's just going to run completely.
Albini struggling to hold on to the front too, so they're clearly the two fastest drivers out on track right now. But Joe is going to be in a bit of no man's land quickly here, I think, because he's faster than Joker and he's just slower than the two in front. So he's looking at that lonely race.
Carl is all over the back of JP, who's gone on to non-ERS deployment here, but Carl doesn't want it. Carl does not want that position as we look behind us to Hammer and Berry looming in the background. Hammer with an absolute rocket of an exit, might even get involved in the Curva Grande. He's on the overtake now, thinks better of it. ERS management crucial around Monza. Once you dip below that 10%, you're buggered. You lose around about, I think it's 7 or 8 miles an hour is losing in braking point when I run out of ERS. It is bad. It is very, very bad. And not a place you want to be in because you will get punished big time by the likes of Berry. And that leads me on.
Berry to the inside, thinks about it.
Berry bold at Lesmo too. I was about to call it Lesbian too. That is an ultimate reference if you get that one.
Yeah, a little bit of an update towards the back of the field. Nini and Nico have been into the pits.
Aren't making much progress here.
Nico has a 10-second penalty as well, so he must have sped in the pits. So that's Nico's race essentially over now already, unless he gets a safety car, because you can serve 10-second penalties now.
Indeed, the Nico and Nini fight for the wooden spoon is
here goes Berry.
Be a big one. As Berry round
the
outside
of Parabolola, also known as Curva Alboreto.
Curva Alboreto, but Alboreto himself said, call it Parabolica, I don't want a corner named after me, so here we go, 3 wide down the main straight. 2 Red Bulls. Are we going to be 4 abreast heading into turn 1? 2 rows of 2 abreast for a second. Ew, lock up from the Red Bulls down the inside of Berry. It's chaos.
Oh,
at
a bit of a
Monza.
contact there between the Williams and the Ferrari, and this is going to be an almighty scrap.
Look at this. This is absolutely incredible. The slipstream and the ERS games are ridiculous heading into the second chicane. Again, 2 rows of 2 wide. Again, there's contact. Hammer has to go wide. Does he clip the second Red Bull? George and Tesco gobble up the Scuderia's defence. Yellow flags. Nico's retired from the session. Commiseration to him. Not the
nightmare.
First race he won, and not a good way to kick off his HRA campaign. That's wide from Tesco. Might have got a warning. And is this the inconsistencies of F1 24 creeping in for the Red Bull?
Inconsistencies are bound to happen this early in the game cycle. One thing I found is that Austria reverse makes for great racing, so I'd love to see that on the calendar eventually. And I think we got it in one of the tiers, I believe.
Indeed. This also, as another random stat jockey, considering I've been in this league for 2.5 years, I can rattle the stats off like crazy. This is the first season in the league's history where we have a split calendar, a fully split schedule. We've had it where we've had late starts.
There goes Joker on Carl. Sorry for the interruption. Down the inside into turn 1.
But he's gone a little
Alpine
wide.
gets it done.
Oy, oy, oy. Good stuff from the Alpine. He can now blast off into the distance and look for that podium place in the pre-season. Of course, the grid quite widespread here in terms of overall pace. As it's
first penalty of the race, Denhorn.
Indeed, Denhorn P2. That's not going to help him, but right now he's gapping as. Oh, I think he might have gone wide somewhere as well. He's just lost a chunk of time to Albini, who is right on the edge of DRS.
Thing with this track is, if you can get in the DRS, you can stay there, which is
it gains
important.
your, I think, I'd estimate as upwards of 6/10 a lap. Just quite frankly, once you're on the DRS, that you get that in one straight. You can be on the back of someone as George dispatches a Berry, but they're going to be side-by-side exit of Ascari. Berry getting the switchback effect through Ascari shows you how incredible that move is, but George, I think he might be on the hot lap, and the overtake blast into the distance, trying to get DRS.
I think Berry's being a bit sensible here and just waiting for the run into turn 1, because Parabolica isn't really an overtaking zone, especially because you get the run back down the straight.
George just burnt all his DRS on the run down to Parabolica. There's the 10%. But no, he's just about managed DRS on his teammate, and that is really helping. Red Bull working together here to try and push themselves further up, and that was a
harsh wobble there for Tesco.
Oy, Tesco. Well, they say every little help, but that will not be helping his race. Somehow that's the first
to go and get a good run here, and you could line up a move.
in a year.
It was a massive one. We've done well to keep it on the track there, did Tesco.
Indeed. Just about saw it in the foreground of the stream. That was spooky stuff, but gets on. He's wide again.
That will allow
his
Plaster
tyres
to go
must be gone.
past. Goodbye DRS board. That will respawn for the next lap. So Berry's also right in here. So have Tesco's tyres gone off this early in the race? Obviously, tyre wear is massively different this game.
I love it. We can actually talk about tyre wear without it being bull. It's amazing because by now the mediums will be degrading big time, and the hards will be coming of age. Quick update on the front. Of course, Willsey, he's 4.2 clear. Net 5 seconds clear.
Crucially, Joe's in DRS.
Oh, Joe's managed to get DRS. Maybe he's treated his tyres slightly better than Denhorn. Of course, people having to adapt now to a tyre model that doesn't enjoy you flicking the car into a corner. Smoothness is king, and that is what Joe's bread and butter is.
This could be a very good battle to watch for the next couple of laps. Obviously, you know more than me, Dan, but he's got the racing knowledge. There's a yellow flag, and that's a Ferrari that's gone off.
Hammer's had a little error. They've plagued him for the last year or so with understandably working family life, having a little one to bring up. And he's not been able to practice much, but it's still incredible to see the who I'd call the de facto owner of the league now. Sadly, Hulk not being around anymore. He's done a good job of keeping this league up, and it's good to see him on the grid still. Carl all over Joker, nothing in doing, but Oh, wide for Joker. That's really hurt his exit out of Ascari. And Carl pounces.
Joe is right on the back of Denhorn. Half a second now, so this could happen into turn 1.
He's got 30% better the ERS, I believe. Yep, 30%. There we go. It's going to be a rocket ship for here for going to turn 1.
So Christian not going to use the ERS this yet. You think he's going to line up for a move into the after Curve Grande into that chicane, which I always forget the name of. Yeah, it's like the only corner name I don't.
Hang on, let me bring out my Formula 1 circuits from above book. This one hasn't been brought out for a while.
Here we go then. Joe's going to line up a move down the inside, maybe? No, he's going to play this smart.
I think he's figured out his tyres are better, so he's just waiting for the opportunity. Smart racing here. He doesn't want to pass Denhorn here, because then he's got the DRS straight before Ascari, a nice long straight after, and then the big one. But he wants to get this pass done somewhere where he can put Denhorn offline and naturally slow him, and then rump off into the distance and hopefully clear DRS before Denhorn can respond.
Looks like Joe's got a much better exit off of Ascari than Denhorn, so this could get interesting again down the main straight. And if you look at the ERS, again, Joe's got an extra nearly 40% now, so and Denhorn is using it off the exit, so...
He's eking out up into the pits. He's going to try and undercut here. Will he get a speeding? He does.
Oh,
I can tell he was just that little bit late on the brakes, and it was 1 mile an hour. It was literally on the bubble. He is going to be fuming with that one.
He'll be kicking himself. He'll be kicking himself. He knew there was an opportunity there for second place today.
The Red Bulls aren't really fighting. They're working together here. Joker through the it's the Retifilio chicane, and De La Roger is the second.
Retifilio De La Roger. I knew one of them was De La Roger, so. What about Retifilio?
English people who can't speak Italian say the first and second chicane.
I know most of them at Imola. Like, Imola's the one I'm quite good at with trying to names. Even Brazil. Like
your Monacos, your Silverstones. Yeah, but how's your Portuguese? Because if you're anything like Crofty, if you're a Brazilian watching the English feed with Crofty on it, you might as well try and put a bullet in your own head because his Portuguese is that bad. Junshao and Zunshao, as he says.
Junshao, isn't it? So.
Yeah, but it's because it's Portuguese. You got the "sun" at the end of it, and he butchers it every time. And I've watched Brazilian YouTubers completely crash out over the fact he can't pronounce Portuguese.
My favourite corner name in F1 is Pica de Pato.
Pica de Pato.
Love Pica de Pato.
Where's that one?
That's in Brazil. It's middle sector.
Middle sector corners.
Tesco gets George Plaster, so the Red Bulls invert, and
indeed they've got to, because Berry's sticking with them after their overtake 5 or so laps ago. Berry hasn't let go of them, and it comes back to your point, Harry, that DRS is king around this track. You hold it, you will stick with someone.
And crucially, Joe has boxed out of it, so...
Indeed, he's boxed it all wide from Berry onto the gravel, and that will still affect him as he heads into not quite as he heads into Lesmo. But one thing to note is, if you dip a wheel in the gravel on a F124, it was... Oh, my wheel's in the gravel. Oh well, I'm fine. Now, it cools your tyres down, dirties them up for the next corner, and the next time you load it up, and if you're unfortunately on traction, it will spin you. It does not take prisoners on this game, and that is something you'll see at the traditional style tracks where gravel lines the exits.
I'm just watching the gap between Denhorn and Albini. 21 seconds right now. So, what's the average pit loss around Monza? It's quite high because it's straight. I mean, it's like 25.
I think it is between 22 and 25 typically, depends on the standard of racing. As into the pits comes JP.
That promotes both the Red Bulls up again.
Plaster.
Out front, it is just Wilsey. He's controlling this
race to a degree that is quite frankly scary for his rivals, and we may well be seeing the protagonist for Division 1 this season. Again, Willsey, he's all conquering. He's got an answer for every single question.
I think he'll box at the end of this lap, you know. As he has got no ERS left.
That is good thinking.
That
possibly he's coming into the pits.
That would basically mean he is on a 2-stop. So I think a lot of these medium runners are going to try and extend to maybe lap 13 so they can 1-stop it. That's what I think the Red Bulls are definitely doing. Even Denhorn.
Bring attention to the fact that Nenny's in the pit lane as well.
Yep, I was right, Dan. Willsey's into the pits.
Alrighty. Carl is on the back of Denhorn for what will be the provisional lead, or lead on track, I should say. Nope,
Denhorn's also in, so that basically confirms he's got on a 2-stop as well. I'm interested to see what the Red Bulls do, because George Plass is also into the pits. If Tesco can extend his stint by a couple of laps,
indeed, if he can,
he could 1-stop this.
I'd say end of 13, start of 14. There's a 1-stop on it. He could realistically end of this lap.
Joe gets Denhorn. Joe does get Denhorn.
Okay, but the peak of the tyres.
Peak of the tyres, yeah. But I'm 90.
That is gonna
5 seconds. He's got 5 seconds advantage.
It's gonna be tight, but he's got JP to tow him along here.
Yeah, JP also got him. So
Joe's got that time penalty as well that's going to loom over him, but he'll serve that in his next pit stop, which is why I think it's good that he's that far clear, because he can try and work with it as why goes Denhorn. But the thing I was going to say is this game, it's so easy to be on the limit of the tyre. It's why I'm half decent in race stints, is because once they're off that peak, they're consistent, predictable. The time in this game is going to be that first 3 laps out the pits where tyres are at their peak and where you can really fling the thing into the corners. It's going to be getting the confidence to do that, and the drivers who will be best at that will be the drivers who will be winning.
Both the leaders are in, and we might see third come in as well. The top 3 are all in. So
just as quickly as he lost the lead of the race, Willsey takes over yet again.
That means Grand Slam is not going to happen today. So
technically he didn't need every lap.
Yeah.
But we're big rear lock up into one. Willsey.
So Hammer's going long here, which I think Hammer's going to be the anomaly in the strategy, because a lot of the medium, all of them have come in and have basically committed to a 2-stop, maybe except those who boxed on the previous lap.
I think that this track's right on the limit of 1 on 2 stops. We saw it in real life, and I think we're seeing it here. That the track, I think they've modelled in the new resurfacing, same with Suzuka, and it's showing that the tyre wear is just so much higher because the cornering speeds are so much higher. And
if you're Albini,
right on the edge,
you're hoping Hammer's on a 1, because Joe will naturally catch up to Hammer, and he'll get the benefit of DRS, and there's a yellow flag out.
Back. That's Hawash into the wall. Has he lost bits of that front wing? It's not letting me go to the off-board camera.
Crucially, he doesn't beach the car, which you can do in this game.
Indeed. Yeah, I've had it happen to me in an old career mode. I think he might have left-hand side of the front wing completely gone for the Alpine.
I'm shocked we haven't seen the introduction of a safety car here, because I don't know what they're on. But I know they're they like to wave it a lot in online races, and I know they did in previous games. Like, even if it was on reduced, you get like 4 a race.
Red Bull team principal Sims in the chat saying that Willsey's not really being tested here. Nah, he's got this race firmly under control. It is. This is genuinely. I'm not saying this to try and build up suspense. It's only a pre-season race, but this is ominous. This is ominous from Willsey. I know a lot of the competition in Div 1 aren't here, but for the likes of George Plaster and Carl and Tesco to be struggling to even look at him, they can't see him after 14 laps. That's scary stuff from Willsey.
You know, in 2023, the whole thing was, the meme was like, just put a tape over the top of the timing tower. It'll make your viewing experience so much better.
That's
See that
what
Wilsey.
it's going to be. The only thing that I think will stop Wilsey is if either we have George and Tesco not have setups on here, or Kevin and Joe getting used to this game quickly. That is
the bit I'm
way.
excited about in this race. Like, as much as the fight for the lead is a bit out of the question here, Hammer's in, and I think he is going to commit to the one stop here. He did go long on his hards, so
indeed, but
he's putting himself in the fight for second place.
Go 13 laps, 12, 13 full laps on a medium. That is going to be tricky here as the lap car of Hawash now ahead of Albini, gets out of the way. No, he doesn't. Yeah, he's staying off racing line lifts. He might even stick with Joe here and try and use him as a bit of a DRS chicken cushion and pull him along here. Could be beneficial to the both of their races. Whilst Hawash needing that here.
If you're Nini and Hawash, you're praying for a safety car. Hawash has already been lapped, so he's done in this race because you can't unlap yourself.
Kevin's in the chat. Welcome. Yeah, Kevin, I think you might have to be on your sweat mode on this game because, well, Wilsey is inevitable. He was on pole by 8 attempts. He's currently leading comfortably, and he's just in a class of his own. Although saying that, Joe's had next to no practice, no practice, and it's still somewhat up there.
Just looking at the gaps, Tesco half a second behind Joker, and George Plaster is 2 tenths behind Denhorn, and he almost lines up a move into turn 1.
George Plaster all over the back of Williams. I think George may have his setup on. Same with Tesco, who's just passed JP, who is unable to respond.
Here he goes. George Plaster's going to think about a move into.
Doesn't.
Forgot the name. That's De La Rocha.
A little bit offline into the De La Rocha. It's such an awesome corner. Camber helps you out, and this one, it feels alright, but the camber's almost off slightly on the exit, and that does affect you. It chucks you out wide, does a complete opposite for confidence.
That's a Haas and an Alpine. So that's Joe lapping.
The lapped car, yeah, they've been trading places for a while, these two. As I said, they're helping each other out. This will.
They're not really, because Denhorn is catching. Denhorn has caught 1.5 seconds in the last lap.
Is Denhorn piggybacking off the back of Hawash's DRS?
Maybe.
There's a big brain here for the Williams. Will he get DRS?
You know, like I said, this could be a very interesting battle.
Denhorn's got DRS.
This could be a very interesting fight for second, because, like I said, if Hammer can convert this to a 1-stop rather than a 2-stop, he's right in this.
He is. He's going to get... Oh, someone's gone wide at 1. Who's that? Hawash.
He's having a bit of a nightmare.
Hawash... Joe is going to be fuming right now because Hawash, be it intentionally or not, has stuck to the back of him, trying to save his own race, has invited Denhorn into the fray. And therefore George...
Hawash moves out the way. He moves out the way.
And therefore, if there's fighting, Tesco's going to get involved here. Because surely now, Hawash is going to give Tesco DRS. This, what was a clear P2 for Albini, is now a fight for P5.
I don't think it was ever a clear P2 for Jacobs of his looming penalty.
But
he'll be lucky to stay on the podium at this rate. So we need an intervention if he's going to even think about a podium, because look how close it is. Like the fight for second goes all the way down to P5 and then on track.
Manic stuff. 18 laps into a 27-lap race, and we've got what is this, a 4-car fight for P2.
This could get interesting on this straight. Actually, George Plaster is all over the back of Denhorn. He's going to get the double toe. This is, if you're Albini, Albini just look away.
Scenario. He's been passed by 2 people on the main straight. That is the power of DRS, ERS usage. And will we see a response from Joe heading into the De La Rocha?
I'm looking at Joe's ERS. if you look at it, I think he's playing the long game here.
He is, yeah. I think
He's got 60% more than Denhorn.
But the thing is, your tyres do get chewed up when you're behind people. But he just wants to stick with this fight. He knows. Joe is
bit of a wobble there.
He's all racing like you because he's got so much spare capacity.
Tesco's going to line up and move on him as well on the run down to Ascari, and he gets it. So that early pit stop from Joe has kind of ruined him a bit. So I think he'll come in soon and sit on a fresh set of mediums and go for another undercut.
See, that's his only option, but that looming 10 seconds is going to hurt him. Of course, they upped it for last year's game, and they've kept
Thinking
it up
about
for
the
this year's
move there
game as
is
well.
Joe. So you might not come in this lap, but we're going to see another, I think, multiple trains of position going into turn 1 yet again. Here goes George Plaster.
On it all down the main straight. Here comes George. The Red Bulls are absolutely looming, looking to pounce on the Williams. One goes around the outside, the other looks at it, gets
bit of contact there between the Williams and the lead Red Bull.
As firing out of the chicane they go.
Tesco and Denhorn have all basically used the entirety of their ERS. So this will invite Joe, so this is where he'll gain.
Indeed, look at the exit for Tesco. He's going to be up the inside at the Lesmos.
This
never
could
ends
end,
well.
This could end badly. Fourth wide is the Williams
My
Denhorn.
God. Incredible racing from the two of them. What respect between these two drivers. That was incredible. Side by side through the Lesmo.
Any other league, I think they crash there. Like
they do. The common respect people have in this league is ridiculous because it's not a massive league by standards, but there's still decent drivers in it.
I think Joe's going to reap the rewards down this next straight here.
Yeah, but he's got to be careful not to lose track, and quite frankly, he's suffering in the dirty air. Dirty air is massive into the pits comes Joe. Dirty air, huge in this game.
Tesco on 0% battery right now and is still gaining on George Plaster. That might be the setup.
Yeah, I think that might be
Joe
set up.
into the pit, so is Joker. So it's going to be a long and painful pit stop for Joe. So this
10 seconds.
He's retired from the session.
Retires from the session. I think, to be honest, he's gone, sod this, I'm going to play Roblox. It's my birthday. Fair enough, Joe. Do you know what? I can't knock that. Go enjoy your day, mate, and have your birthday.
Limits the fight for the final spot on the podium.
Slipstream's overpowered. They most likely have the same setup, says Kevin in the chat. Valid.
Providing the IQ there is Kevin. Always been a very good racer. Always knew what he was doing.
I think these days to be quick in league racing, you don't just need to be quick like it was back in my day, back on F1 2019, where I had a wheel, so I was the best. That was de facto. I wasn't the best driver, but I was doing everything. And I had no spare capacity at all. So
into the pits comes Willsey. So 2-stop looks like the fastest way to go, but they could fit on softs here. So if they save the set, I don't know how bad they are.
Set mediums for Willsey.
I don't use them in my career mode, to say the least.
They are diabolical at most tracks. It depends what compound you've got on the. I was about to call it Tyre Rainbow. Hashtag bring back the Tyre Rainbow. I need my hyper softs and ultra hards back. Those are the days.
All of a sudden, Red Bull 1-2. Might as well. Well, welcome back 2023. So
welcome back. Gone. And I was hoping forgotten, but
it looks like
a couple
George.
Red Bulls on the podium.
Oh, yellow flag. That is Hawash.
Hawash hit.
I got excited. I thought we was going to get an introduction of a safety car, which would have made this end of the race really interesting.
Car right now would have seen Red Bull lead the race and Willsey have a charge to make.
George Plaster and Tesco are going to fight this. Not going to think about the move into Ascari.
No, these two teammates, new to each other in terms of teammates, but good friends off track. I always see them in BC together. And they're always helping each other out. There's a lot of camaraderie in this league. That's yet another reason why it is, in my opinion, the best league I've ever been in.
Denhorn's going to fall off the back here because he's burning his ERS so much. And he has fell off the back. 1.2.
I was only
side by side, the two Red Bulls going into turn one.
Tesco
down the inside and takes the lead of the race.
Goes wide though. George looks for the switchback. He's tugged right up on the rear wing. The slipstream is going to be incredible as we get through the Curva Grande. To quote Crofty, is it a grande move from George Plaster? No, backs out of it.
Are they going to try and go to the end?
They might.
6 laps to go. 10 seconds to Wilsey, and he's got to make a move on Denhorn first, unless Denhorn boxes. This could be a more interesting end to the race than we thought we'd get, to be honest. But
could be, yeah.
I'd say, yellow flag sector 1. That is.
Who's that? Berry. Berry might be round as George retakes the lead. Yeah, these two are towing each other along. This is all team games. Red Bull playing it by the book in terms of teamwork here. This is incredible stuff to watch.
Berry penalty. So I reckon he's picked up a little bit of damage. I will double check. In fact, not that I can see on his car, but I think he's definitely had a trip to the gravel. You can sort of see it.
He made an excursion. Kevin's message in the chat. Yeah, I was only joking. You don't have to put in too much practice. Honestly, just enjoy the game because we've got a good one on our hands. Last game on this game engine and on this game cycle, regulation cycle. So,
fast lap of the race goes to Wilsey.
He's cut
2 seconds.
2 off of that gap in 1 lap. Even if they stay out to the end, that peak will drop off by 5/10 in 2 laps, a second on the next lap, and then it'll stabilise. So Wilsey will lose around a second a lap by the end of this.
George Plaster is going to hope Denhorn does an absolute madness here. I think Denhorn's realised he's not going to win this race. He's 2 seconds behind Tesco now. It's George Plaster or Wilsey who wins this, and as much as you said he'll drop off the pace, those hards are going to be crying.
And might I give a shout out to Denhorn here because he was at top of Div 2, took ages to get a win, so many bottles, and he'd be first to admit that. Australia pings to mind where he bottled under an easy win under safety car. I mean, he just had to shut his eyes and he'd win the race. There was laps left, he had the softs, no one else did, and he binned it under safety car at turn 3.
We've all been there.
And into the car park section. A safety car bin was my trademark, mate. There's leader swap yet again, but I think that's standard for them now. But his pace is looking incredible on this game.
Wilsey's used a lot of his DRS.
Yeah, I don't know what Denhorn's been eating in the off-season, but props, mate. This is good pace.
Bye, Kevin.
See you, Kevin. Thanks for joining us, mate. Sorry you couldn't be here, but look forward to seeing you in action next week when we get the season going.
Berry's on the softs, so I'm interested to see what he does for the rest of this race.
So, update on the Red Bulls. They're definitely one-stopping here. Most definitely.
So's Denhorn. Right,
we're now going to get the penalties graphic up for the main feed because that's the important one. Tesco has a 3, but look, they're just swapping and swapping and swapping. Could we see a miracle happen for Red Bull here and Wilsey lose on the 2-stop?
Denhorn with another.
That's his podium, all but gone. Well, literally gone. I think Red Bull are looking upon a miracle here on a 1-stop. They just have to hope their tyres don't blow up and that Wilsey doesn't catch the 7 seconds in as many laps. I mean, no, I'm not really a believer in fate, but I think there's someone looking down blessing Red Bull's race here today.
It's sent off really at the moment.
Fourie.
I don't want to jinx it either.
I just hope they hold it for his sake, because a win for Red Bull in his team, in his car, would be just incredible. And a proper way to send off and start this game cycle for Red Bull. Because this shows pace doesn't mean squat. Strategy means everything. And this game is so new that people are not even sim racing setups. SRC, the place I get my setups from, have released their strategies yet. I think they're working on them now, but
I like
so
I like
early
this
doors.
about this game. Any like a one-stop and a two-stop can both work.
Yeah, because you can one-stop, save your tyres. Actually saving your tyres makes an impact. Being smoother, it can give you an extra 3% a lap less wear on the softest compounds, and on the harder ones the same.
Wilty penalty, that is
Wilty
crucial.
penalty, that is big. That means that, quite frankly, he can't just sit behind and take even a P2 here. He must fight.
At
with
the
top
moment,
guys.
Denhorn is back in the podium places.
Yeah.
Only just, but
Only
he is.
just admittedly, yeah.
But Hammers
Quite
fell out
frankly,
as well.
Will's
He's losing
progress
time
has halted. Will's progress has halted.
George
And
Plaster
yet
takes the
again,
lead.
They swap places. This is a Red Bull masterclass.
2
Quite
laps to
frankly.
go. And it looks like it is going to be a 1-2. And you've kind of called it to the bone here when Wilsey came in. He'll start dropping off.
It's a last to first. Like, it's as we thought. George Blaster up 11 places, Tesco up 9. Did George start last?
We can double check that.
Yes, he did. He started P12. P12 and P11, first and second. My God.
That's not a
We
statement.
said it could happen in quali. That is... Nah, that's beyond fate. That is destiny right there. Again, not one for it, but in Fourie's team, for them to have pulled a last to first off in a one-stop around Monza, it is giving Charles Leclerc, and it's amazing to watch.
2 tenths of distance. I think Tesco's going to want this on track though, because they've both had equal pace. Tesco made a couple of mistakes at the end of the first stint.
As Carl saying, what's going on here? What's going on is someone's looking down and blessing Red Bull's race, and that is Fourie. And we are seeing it on the last lap of the race. Here comes Tesco. Willie wants it on track to the inside. Don't take each other out, boys.
This would be
please.
funny, but like
it would be tragedy, is what it would be.
Tesco leads on track. George Plaster's going to think about it on the run down to the Della Roggia chicane.
I can't believe this. Red Bull have pulled a blinder.
4.5 seconds back to this. Here he goes. George Plaster thinks about the move. He knows all he has to do is stay behind him.
They're both in non-ERS. None of them want to deploy anything, but he has to, because the dirty air through the 2 Lesbos is going to put him quite a way back here. George, he's got to be careful not to get a pen, because he is still winning the race. But here we go, heading towards Ascari, the final full DRS straight that George will have access to. Will he attack Tesco into Ascari? Doesn't quite, but he's all over the back of him.
It's a massive aside, but I used to think Motorola made cars.
Alright, here we go then, heading towards the final couple corners in the race that we're running at Fourie's favourite track, in his honour, in his name.
I think they're going to do a little
team.
formation over the line here.
Last to first. I can't quite believe that.
They don't.
Red Bull take a 1-2. George wins the pre-season race. Tesco
From last.
second. Last to first in Fourie's team. That isn't just a stroke of destiny. That is someone looking down on Red Bull today and saying, this is in my honour.
Oh,
they're going to get a 1-2.
The Williams just crashed into the
So
back.
Williams AI runs into the back of it. But the Red Bull car unstoppable today. And in the hands of George and Tesco, they've done it. I called it in quali. It is a last to first for Fourie's team. Thank you, Fourie. That is for him. Incredible, incredible stuff.
The perfect send-off. It
perfect
really is the
send-off.
perfect send-off. He was just a lovely guy.
Yeah, it is genuinely an emotional one, because he was champion in the first season I ever did commentary, and lovely guy. I've raced him, I've talked to him. He was just absolutely incredible, and to see a 1-2 for Red Bull, for his team at his favourite track, who have done it from last to first, not just one car last to first, P12 to P1 and P11 to P1, back row to front row for Red Bull in his honour. Incredible, incredible stuff.
Incredible indeed. I'm glad I came back for this race, because it just highlights how different the strategies can be, and how good league racing could be could be this year.
Look at the driver of the day stuff. Other than fastest lap, George Plaster is the man. Look at that.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Race winner, driver of the day, most overtakes, and the cleanest driver. That is, yeah.
After so many open
That
lobbies,
is incredible.
after so many open lobbies I've been in, and it's just been chaos. It was really refreshing to see such a clean race with such quick drivers. It's so refreshing.
And it's promising because in this game, you can go side by side, you can fight, and with the tyres, it means that genuinely strategy is now something we were at. Last year's game, it was wait till the medium isn't quicker on raw pace and the hards and box. Then run the hards to the end because there's a 10th drop off between lap 1 and lap 1,000,000 on them tyres. You can do an entire race stint around, I think it was Azerbaijan, and see 2/10 drop off from the hard tyre.
Hopefully we get more of it for the rest of the season.
Wow. And what an incredible first race for you to witness. It wasn't an absolute belter, but I mean, we saw of last to first. That's always something special. As my first race in HRA was a tribute, kind of almost fitting that yours was a tribute as well.
Yeah, well, we all knew Fourie.
We don't have one
we all knew
for
him.
a while.
We've all raced against him. I remember when I was faster than him at one point. That was a while ago, to say the least.
Yeah. Fourie, in WTZ, in EFR, LSA, with the guys, Fernando, who was a guest commentator here a while ago, you might remember. All of them, it hit them really, really hard, and it hit me hard as well. And Kevin, who sadly couldn't be here.
I remember seeing the news.
The
news. I messaged friends like, has this actually happened? Almost in a sense of shock. Yeah. It was a massive shock, and there will forever be a massive hole.
Because he was here for a season and a half, and some of the battles he put up were incredible. And when he got involved in incidents, it's yep, sorry, my fault. And he moved on. The perfect racer and an even better person, quite frankly. And I know that this is a stereotypical thing to say, but he will genuinely be missed. It'll burn a little less bright without him here. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to be back in the commentary box. Hopefully it's a regular occurrence for the rest of the season.
Hopefully. You're very welcome. It's been refreshing not talking to myself for an hour and a half straight.
Commentary on your own is arguably the hardest thing to do. Because I've done it a lot on LSA, and it's so difficult.
You just spend... I find I spend half an hour before just gathering stats so I've got something to talk about. That's a little easier being the encyclopedia for this league that I am now.
Like, if there's a track where feeder series like race, I used to get up, like, if we got a safety car interval, or like we had a pause in qualifiers, like, the last few poles in F3 were like, this was Alex Dunn's first ever win.
Things like going through a track map and going, start a quali going, okay, this corner's to the left, that corner's to the right. Yeah, just the little things that make the difference. But it was more than a little thing today with Red Bull taking the 1-2. That was genuinely special. And I'm hoping, and this is a shout to the HRA admins who have access to the YouTube, please get this one on there. We cannot lose this one to time. This one has to be remembered.
It's a great advert for the league to show basically even just the cleanliness that you don't see in many leagues.
Because the Hulk tribute race was on there, and that's a race I've gone through and watched that at least half a dozen times because I enjoyed that. And I'll see how far I've come since then, but this one cannot be lost to time. It cannot. This has to stay up, not just in his name, but because we witnessed something today, and that can't be lost. But I think we'll round it out today. From us.
I'm saying he'll do what he can. He has 7 days.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah. Thank you, Hammer. What an incredible race, and what an incredible send-off for our friend Fourie. Thank you for joining us. I have been Apollo. And from me, I will see you next week. And take it away, Harry.
Adios. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for joining. Bye bye.